We're here with Jane Green, the New York Times bestselling author, in her lovely home in Westport. And here we are in her backyard. Jane was nice enough to curate a collection for us on the local vault, and we're thrilled. We have a few pieces here that we can talk about in a moment, but we want to hear a little bit about you.
About me?
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about you. You are a woman who has many, many talents. I think of you as a Renaissance woman because you're an award-winning writer or a best-selling author. You're a cookbook writer as well. You paint, you illustrate. You have 5 children?
I have, well, 6 in total.
6
Yeah.
children. So quite an accomplishment. So how did you become so talented?
I think I'm sort of mildly talented at lots of things. I don't think I had to let go of perfection a long time ago because I'm not very patient. So I'm the jack of all trades, the master of none. I do everything. I cook, I garden, I paint, but I don't do everything perfectly. I do everything a little bit sloppily, but it's okay, it's good enough.
Oh, that's wonderful. And if people want to read more about you, they can read our blog on the local vault, and in there you credit your mom.
Yes,
for many of your
my
talents.
mum is enormously talented, but was born at a time when I think she didn't feel that it was something she could express, and so actually she always did interior design when I was young, and we lived in these wonderful old houses in London, and she'd do all the design for friends of ours and friends of hers, and later in life she started painting, and now she sculpts, and she's just wildly talented, but just has never really been able to express it properly, but she's managing now. But I definitely think I whatever I have from her.
So in your guest curated collection, you sort of put the collection together with your English background and a beach aesthetic. So talk about your personal style.
So my personal style, I think, is probably quite English and quite traditional in that, one of my design gurus was actually an American woman called Nancy Lancaster, who moved to England and started working for an English design company called Colfax and Fowler, which over here is sold as Cowden and Tout.
Yep.
And Colfax, she really created the English country house look. And she believed that everything should be a mix, nothing should match perfectly. She believed in books, she believed in flowers, she believed in really comfortable sofas, she believed in artwork, she believed in objects that told the story of your life. And so I love mixing it up. I love mixing the old and the new. I love pairing, something lucite with one of these wonderful old, walnut boxes. But I definitely like to gather, and I like the things I have to tell a story.
Well, that's music to our ears at the local vault. We're all about mixing, antique pieces and giving them new life and mixing them with contemporary pieces. And this is why your style speaks to us. And you were such a natural fit for the local vault. So tell me a little bit about some of, like this home that you have here. Is this something, how long have you lived here?
So, well, I've been in Westport for almost 20 years. We've been in this house for 5 years. And our last house we actually built from the ground up. And we thought we could be really clever and build a new house that looked and felt old. But in fact, we built a really beautiful new house that looked and felt new, because just, houses, it's the same as with objects. They tell a story or they don't. A new house can never, it doesn't have the soul, it can't tell a story. And I thought we built a beautiful house, it just didn't feel quite right. And my husband stumbled upon this, and it's on a street that he's always wanted to live on. He kind of sold me on the view. We call it Creaky Cottage because they can trace it back to 1913, although our surveyor says the foundations are actually 19th century. So we know it was the first house on the street, and it owned actually all of Compo Beach at the time. And it's Creaky Cottage because there was no, although it has been winterized over the years, not properly. And so when we put the new kitchen in, we discovered that nothing had been insulated. There was newspaper, like damp newspaper in the wall. So when the wind blows, the whole house howls and creaks. And it also sits on a tidal creek. So we call it Creaky Cottage.
Nice. Well, speaking of kitchens,
Yeah.
our mutual friend Tracy told me about your cookbook, and I sort of hinted I wanted it. And you were kind enough to send it to me, and I've already tried a recipe, and I've earmarked another one that I plan to try some of the recipes. It's called Good Taste.
Good Taste, yeah.
Good Taste, and it is, I mean, the photos are fantastic, and what I love about it too is that you incorporate your home decor in there, and the photographs are beautiful. The recipes are so fantastic. In fact, when I got it, I immediately opened it up, and I had my hairstylist come to the house because of COVID to cut my hair,
Yeah.
or to do my hair, and she saw me looking through the cookbook, and she was like, oh my God, I want to make that. What is that? And so I showed it to her. So anyway, so I love that you love to cook too. And I love how it sort of ties into your kitchen is amazing. We're featuring it on our homepage right now. So I feel like it you know, it's about creating beautiful things, right? And tell me about that.
So, I mean, everything in my life is about comfort, warmth, coziness, and beauty. I like beautiful things, but I don't like anything to be precious.
Right.
So I kind of cook the same way I do everything, in that yes, I am a trained chef, but I was trained in very fine French cooking, but that's not what I cook.
wow.
What I cook is just comfort food, really kind of easy, delicious comfort food, because nobody has the time to slave over a hot stove or to kind of pass through recipes with millions of ingredients. So I like really simple food that makes people feel nurtured and safe and loved. And
Well,
that's
nice.
what, whether I'm creating a home and decorating a room or feeding friends, it's all the same thing. I want people to feel safe and loved.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
nice sentiment. A nice thing that I saw on your Instagram account, not that I'm stalking you, but are these beautiful little shells. Tell me about the oysters, and you paint these?
I couldn't write at the beginning of COVID. I had no idea what to do with myself. So I went to the beach and started gathering oyster shells. And what I do is I do designs on a computer, and then I print the designs onto tissue paper. It's quite labor intensive because you have to sort of stick the tissue paper onto paper and then unpeel it. But I put my designs on tissue paper, and then I cut them out and I decoupage them. I stick them on, and then I do an epoxy varnish and gold leaf.
They're fantastic. They are really, really, really
So
cool. Let's see. Tell us about your latest book.
Oh, so I brought both books out because we just
okay.
talked about the cookbook. So
Yes, gotta
here
show the
is the
cookbook.
cookbook.
Oh yeah, that's fabulous.
And actually, this, you can see it's got pictures of, well, that's me with my mom.
It's such a wonderful picture.
But there are all sorts of pictures of kind of food and my life, my kids. Ooh, very easy
Yeah.
curries, lots of curries.
Yeah.
You can tell I'm English because there are so many curries. And then this is my latest novel, which just came out in paperback, The Friends We Keep. And this was really sort of inspired by my realization as I hit middle age that my life was much more isolated than I ever expected it to be. And partly I blame technology. I think we're all hiding behind our screens. But I thought, gosh, wouldn't it be lovely if once the kids leave home, we all sort of, maybe all our best friends, we buy a piece of land somewhere and have a sort of commune and all have like a small house with a big communal barn. And I thought, hey, I'm a novelist. I can explore this in a book. And so this is the story of three friends who meet at university, vow to be best friends forever, but life gets in the way and they slowly drift apart. and they find each other again at their 30th reunion, and they're all on their own for whatever reason, and they decide to live together again. But of course what they don't know is that one of them is harboring a big secret from the past.
Ooh.
So that's The Friends We Keep, available in all bookstores now, and especially support your independent bookstores, and I think your local is the wonderful Diane's Books in Greenwich.
Oh, yes.
So this is where to get this
Yes.
book.
Okay, wonderful. And you know, you mentioned you wanted to meet in the afternoon because you started writing again. So do you find that the morning is your best time?
Yeah, morning is definitely my time for, you know, when my kids were young, I would always finish by lunchtime so I could go back to being mum for the rest of the day, and that habit has just stuck. And now in summer, I write, and then friends come over and we bob in the pool. We don't actually swim because that would involve movement, but we just bob on needles. in
Oh,
the
how
pool.
fun.
Yeah.
What a great thing to do. So, you know, since I brought over some of the things, I thought it'd be fun to sort of highlight some of the, you showed us the books that, I'm sorry, not the books, the wonderful little
Well, we
boxes.
have more books
Yep.
here. And the really hard thing is that I chose all these things, and I didn't actually realize how stunning they are in real life. It's that thing where when you choose something online, there's always that moment before it arrives where you never know, is it going to be worse than it looks, or is
Or
it going to
better,
be better?
yes.
And I actually want to buy everything here. It's all fantastic.
Oh.
So look, I didn't know what these. I think these are spoon warmers. You
Warmers,
tell me, but
yes.
honestly, I'd use them as bookends. I
Yes.
just think they're decorative and they're beautiful, and you could use them for anything. And I just think they're really elegant. And these books, I do love a leather, but I don't even know what it is. Waverley novels. Anyway, they're absolutely gorgeous, and so those are always lovely. And we had a modern library from my husband's grandfather, which was all leather bound and wonderful, but actually we have so many bookshelves in this house and we're now out of space. So
Yeah, that happens.
we need to build more.
And then this is really fun too, what you picked out, the Art Deco
The
little
Deco
tea set, which is very fitting for a English
Yes.
woman.
So I'm a big believer in tea. My mother on her wedding day was given an antique, beautiful bone china tea service by her grandmother that she is saving for me. But I love tea. I think it's the most, it's the best meal because it's super easy. I love a proper cucumber sandwich, but if anyone's making them, you have to use butter, cold butter, and you have to slice the cucumbers as thin as paper. That's a
That's the
proper
tip.
British
Okay, all right.
cucumber sandwich.
Good,
Yeah.
good to
Yeah.
know.
So a tea set you can't go wrong, and these are my favorite colours, pink and gold. I mean, it doesn't get better. So I love the tea set.
And then these are fun. These Worlds Away. I believe they're Worlds Away, or no, Chelsea House. Little vessels
They're
that are fun.
absolutely stunning. And actually what I love about them is that they work beautifully outside. I love them with these walls in them, and I just think, even outside, here we are, we're sitting on my deck, but my whole thing is create a room or create a space that's beautiful where people, and really with just the furniture, this is nothing, but when you start dressing a table, that's when it comes together, and these are the kinds of things that will finish a room.
Wonderful. Well, Jane, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to meet you, and thank you for sharing your home with us.
My pleasure,
And
anytime.
all the
Oh, we
best.
didn't talk about boxes. Can we just talk
Oh
about
yeah,
boxes?
yeah. We could talk about
I
boxes.
did mention them, but I'm crazy about these boxes, and I have them everywhere in my house. And I love the little inlaid details, and this sort of, I think it's a burled walnut, they're just exquisite. And I would put these on every table. So that's what I do, by the way, as well. None of my tables are empty. They're all, and that's my English style as well. We very rarely just hang like one painting in the middle of a wall. We're going to have a wall of paintings.
It's a collection.
Yes, and a table is just a space to put beautiful books and stack up wooden boxes and candle
It's like an
holders
art
and-
installation.
Exactly.
Thanks again.
Thanks.